welcome back to my channel. Mercury, the planet of communication, will be entering the sign Capricorn on December 28, and it will stay in Capricorn till March 4. So this is a pretty significant transit that is happening because Mercury is going to leave Sagittarius and enter its friendly sign Capricorn because it considers Saturn as a good friend. And likewise, Saturn also considers Mercury as a very good friend as well. So let us observe the effect that this transit will have on all the 12 signs. You can look at the predictions based on your moon or ascendant sign, as it will be more relevant than the sun sign. And my predictions are based on Vedic astrology. So I have posted the timestamps in the description box below. So you can just click on the time that corresponds to your moon or ascendant sign. So without further delay, let's take a look at how Mercury and its transit is going to be for all the 12 signs. All right, for the first sign in the zodiac, which is Aries. So the transit of Mercury will be in your 10th house. So Mercury will be conjunct with its good friend Saturn. And the 10th house is related to your job and profession. So since Mercury is a natural planet of communication, you can expect your communication skills to improve. Your bosses and co-workers might start to notice you more. They might start paying more attention to your ideas. You might start being more creative. You might start participating in your team meetings. And all this will be noticed by your bosses. They might start to appreciate you more because your input will be valuable. So Mercury is going to give you that nice growth in your job and profession, where you are going to use your quick thinking and intelligent communication to get your point across, and you are going to come out on top as a leader. So Mercury has an aspect from where it sits as well, and that will be on the 4th house. So this is now where you need to be a bit careful, because Saturn and Mercury will both aspect the 4th house from the 10th house, and that aspect will be an enemy aspect because it will fall on the sign Cancer. Both Mercury and Saturn consider Moon, the planet which rules Cancer, as an enemy. So you need to be careful in matters related to your relationship with your mother. Do not get into arguments, or there could be potential misunderstandings. Now would be not the time to suddenly buy a new house or suddenly invest in real estate. If you want to buy a new car, then you have to wait till Mercury leaves this house, because the combined aspect of both Mercury and Saturn on the 4th house is not that beneficial. Also, for those students who are wanting to give exams for their high school or bachelor's programs, you will need to study very hard. You will need to put in a lot of effort to get good grades. But if you put in that effort, then you will see success. So Mercury is going to do very well in terms of your profession, but you need to be careful in some of the other things that I mentioned. So I wish you all the best. All right, now let's talk about the second sign in the zodiac, which is Taurus. So, my Taurus friends, Mercury will be transiting in your ninth house, and it is going to be conjunct with its good friend Saturn in the house of luck and destiny. So, slowly your luck will start supporting you more. Your destiny will start to slowly rise. Your bhagya will be supportive. Those students who want to pursue higher education in a foreign land, such as a master's or a PhD program, then you will have good progress in those areas. Those people who had invested in the stock market in the past, you might start to see some good gains. If you had any misunderstandings with your father, then slowly those relationships might start getting better, and the bond between you and your father will get deeper and it will be more positive. Some people might even go on a religious tour or to a religious place or on a pilgrimage. And these things will bring a lot of peace and relaxation. So, Mercury and Saturn from the ninth house will also aspect your third house. And that is where you need to be a bit careful, because the combined aspect of Saturn and Mercury on the third house will fall on the sign Cancer, which is ruled by Moon. And Moon is considered to be an enemy planet for Mercury and Saturn. So be especially careful while driving a vehicle on any short distance. Do not speed and drive. Be careful in dealing with your siblings. Do not get into arguments with them, or that could lead to misunderstandings. Be careful with your communication. Even though your communication will be good, do not be very blunt, or some people might take it the wrong way. Also, if you are into working out, if you do CrossFit, be a bit careful, because the third house is related to gym, working out. So make sure to get proper training before lifting heavy weights. Make sure to know the proper techniques so that a potential injury can be avoided. But other than that, Mercury and Saturn are going to be beneficial in increasing your luck. And you are going to also become very spiritual or religious, very dharmic. So overall, it is a good transit for you. So I wish you all the best. All right, for my third sign, Gemini. So my Gemini friends, Mercury is going to transit in your 8th house with Saturn, because Saturn is already going to be there. So it is going to be conjunct with the planet Saturn, its good friend. So even though 8th house is considered to be a malefic house, which denotes major accidents, terminal diseases, major obstacles, ups and downs in life, but since Saturn is in its own sign, own house, and with its good friend Mercury, you are going to be protected from those things. You are going to see improvement if you are in a research related field. You might see sudden gains from unexpected sources of income, like maybe the stock market, maybe through inheritance, maybe through your spouse, through your in-laws, because 8th house is related to sudden unexpected gains in life. Also, 8th house is related to occult studies, hidden subjects like astrology, astronomy, psychic reading. All these things fall under the 8th house. So suddenly you might develop more interest in those fields. So from the 8th house, Mercury will be aspecting the 2nd house along with Saturn as well. So both Saturn and Mercury will aspect the 2nd house, and that will fall on the sign Cancer. So that is where you need to be a bit careful, because Cancer is not a good sign for Mercury and Saturn, because they consider Moon as an enemy planet. So you have to be careful in the matters of your money, your finance. Even though you might get a gain, do not suddenly invest that money back, or you might lose that. Because the 2nd house is the house of wealth, your bank balance, your savings. So be very wise when it comes to your money. Try to save your hard-earned money. Be careful in dealing with your extended family. Do not basically be very upfront with them, or that could lead to misunderstandings. Do not be blunt. Do not be aggressive. But if you are calm, if you are patient, then things should be fine. Also, be watchful of the food you eat and the drinks that you drink, because 2nd house is related to food and drinks. So just be a bit careful of those things. But as long as you eat healthy food, drink plenty of water, then things are going to be fine for you. So overall, this transit is looking to be good, but you just need to be careful in some of the matters that I mentioned before. So I wish you all the best. All right, for my 4th sign, which is Cancer, Mercury will be transiting in your 7th house, and it will be conjunct with Saturn. Saturn and Mercury are very good friends. 7th house is related to your marriage, your married life. So for some people who want to get married, there is a good chance that some good proposals might come your way. If you're already married, then your harmony and peace in your married life will slowly improve. If you are in a business partnership, your business partner will be more supportive of you now. Your communication will be much better with your spouse and your business partner. Things will start to progress in a more positive way. There could be some long distance journeys. From the 7th house, Mercury will be aspecting the 1st house, and so will Saturn. So this is where you need to be a bit careful when Saturn and Mercury aspect your Lagna, which is the 1st house, the body, the physical ascendant, which is Cancer itself. Because Mercury and Saturn consider Moon, the planet which rules Cancer, as an enemy planet. So what you need to be careful is with your health. Do not ignore any health issues. Do not get into arguments. Do not lose your temper. As long as you are calm, patient, and just relaxed, then things will progress in a more positive way. But if you try to get into arguments, if you are very aggressive, then that could basically lead to issues, because Saturn and Mercury are aspecting your Lagna, and that will be an enemy aspect. So on one end, Saturn and Mercury are going to do really good for your married life and business. But on the other end, you need to be a bit careful with the things that I mentioned before. So overall, this transit is looking to be good, and I wish you all the best. For my fifth sign, Leo. So my Leo friends, Mercury is going to transit in your sixth house, and it will be conjunct with its friend Saturn. So sixth house is mainly related to diseases, to enemies, to any loans, to your daily work routine. So now you might see that you are able to come out on top in regards to your competitors. You will be able to use your wit and your effective intelligence to conquer over your enemies. If you are suffering from any health issues, then you might get the idea to get the proper treatment, which will help you to feel better. If you had taken any loans in the past, now you might get some ideas on how you can repay those loans. You will feel more energetic and enthusiastic for your everyday work-life routine, and that will slowly improve. However, Mercury and Saturn will aspect the 12th house from the 6th house, and that aspect will be on the enemy sign Cancer, because Mercury and Saturn both consider Cancer as an enemy sign because it is ruled by the enemy planet Moon. So you need to be careful in the things such as expenses. Make sure to control your expenses when Mercury is in your 6th house. Otherwise, you might spend a lot of unnecessarily where it might not be needed. Your expenses might start to rise, so you will need to control that. If you're suffering from any health issues, make sure to get the treatment on time, because 12th house is related to hospitalization. It is related to medical expenses. That is why if you have the slightest health issue bothering you, then it would be best to consult your doctor ASAP, and that will help you to feel better. Also, be careful of any investments that you make. Do not suddenly invest large amounts of money, or you could face losses. But other than that, Mercury and Saturn, they're both going to benefit you in some of the things that I mentioned before. So I wish you all the best. All right, moving on to the sixth sign, Virgo. So my Virgo friends, Mercury will be transiting to your fifth house. Fifth house is a very auspicious house, and Mercury will be conjunct with the planet Saturn, its best friend. So you can expect a lot of good things related to the fifth house matters. For example, those people who had invested in the stock market in the past might suddenly see some benefits or gains. Those people who have children, the relationship with your children will improve. It will get better. You might even go on a fun outing with them, like maybe to a movie, a picnic. Also, if you are single, then there is a good chance that you might come across someone you start liking. And the communication will be very good because Mercury will be placed in the fifth house. So the communication will be very effective. So overall, you're going to see a lot of positivity in these things. But Mercury and Saturn will also aspect the 11th house. It will be a combined aspect on the 11th house. Usually that aspect would have been good because 11th house is a very auspicious house. However, it will fall on the enemy sign Cancer. Mercury and Saturn both do not like Cancer because it is ruled by the enemy planet Moon. So you need to be careful with your communication with your elder siblings. Do not get into arguments with them, or that could lead to some issues. Be careful in communicating with your social network because people might misunderstand you. Also, if you had any long-time wishes or desires, you have to be a bit patient now because 11th house is related to long-time desires, wish fulfillment. Because the enemy aspect is falling on that house, there is going to be a bit delay in getting those wishes fulfilled. So just be patient, and even in money matters, you need to be a bit patient as you might see a slight decline in your gains from multiple sources of income. But again, this is temporary because Mercury will again leave Capricorn after a few months. So I advise you to just be patient. But you're going to see a lot of benefits in the other things that I mentioned before. So I wish you all the best. All right, for my 7th sign, Libra. For Libra, Mercury will be transiting in your 4th house. And it will be conjunct with its good friend Saturn. So Mercury and Saturn both are going to do very well in your 4th house related matters. Your relationship with your mother will improve if there were any misunderstandings. There will be more harmony and peace. You might start to feel more relaxed. You will start to get more mental peace. Those people who wanted to buy a new house might start looking and researching more into investing in a new home. People in the real estate field will benefit from this transit. Those people who want to buy a new vehicle, they might also start to do some in-depth research and look to see if they can find some good deals, because Mercury is the planet of communication and intelligence. So they will feel very smart and they will be able to take wise decisions because Mercury will help them get those good deals. It can be in buying a new house, it can be buying a new car, it can be decorating your home with luxury goods. But you need to be careful because Mercury will also aspect the 10th house, and so will Saturn. But that aspect will be on the enemy sign Cancer, because Mercury and Saturn both do not like the sign Cancer as it is ruled by the enemy planet Moon. So the 10th house is related to your job and profession. So now would be the time to be careful in your job, in your profession. Do not get into arguments with your bosses. Do not get into arguments with your co-workers, or that could lead to issues. Now is the time to stay cool, play it low-key, keep working hard in your job, and do not do any gossiping. Then you will see good progress in your career as well. But overall, this transit is looking to be good for my Libra friends. So I wish you all the best. For my 8th sign, Scorpio. So my Scorpio friends, Mercury will be transiting in your 3rd house. And it will be conjunct with his good friend Saturn. So, third house is related to short distance journeys. So, you might benefit from short distance journeys. It is also related to your younger siblings. So, your relationship with your younger siblings will start to get better. It will improve. There will be more harmony and peace in your relationship. Your communication skills will get better. This transit will be very good for people in leadership roles, CEOs, sales, marketing, public relations. Some people might even get very health conscious. You might suddenly join a new gym. You might get into a new workout program. So all these things are looking to be good for you. But you need to be careful with one thing, which is Mercury will be aspecting the ninth house. And so will Saturn. But that aspect will fall on the enemy sign Cancer because it is ruled by the planet Moon. So you need to be careful in any decisions you take based on luck, because luck will be a little low because of that enemy aspect. Do not make any decisions solely based on luck because it will not support you. Now is the time to study really hard. If you're in a PhD or a master's program and you're going to do your defense or you're going to give any exams, you have to study really, really hard to be able to get good grades. Do not be lazy around this time, or that could lead to some issues in your education. So, if you are careful in some of these things I mentioned, then you are going to be fine. And this transit is going to be good for you. So I wish you all the best. For my ninth sign, Sagittarius. So my Sagittarius friends, Mercury will be transiting in your second house of wealth. And it will be conjunct with Saturn, its good friend. So now is the time your bank balance might start increasing. Your savings might start going up. You might have a nice family reunion. If you haven't met your extended family for a while, then there might be some reunion on the cards. Your speech will be very mesmerizing. Everyone will start to notice you more. You will appear to be very charming. You're going to eat lots of good food. You might go to new restaurants in town. And you're overall going to have a very fun and joyous time. However, Mercury will be aspecting the 8th house, and so will Saturn. But it will fall on the enemy sign Cancer because it is ruled by the planet Moon. So that is where you need to be a bit careful. Because 8th house is related to major accidents, terminal diseases, sudden downfalls. So if you get any sort of finance or cash flow your way, do not spend that or do not suddenly invest that back in like the stock market or something, because then that could lead to losses. If you drive a vehicle, be careful with your speed. Do not speed and drive. If any health issues are bothering you, make sure to consult your doctor ASAP. Do not delay any health issues. And that way, you will be safe. And you will benefit from this transit. So, overall, things are going to be good for the most part, and you should use this transit to your advantage. So I wish you all the best. All right, my Capricorn friends. For Capricorn, Mercury is going to transit in your first house, meaning in the ascendant, on the body. So, since it will be conjunct in a friendly sign with its good friend Saturn, your communication skills will get very powerful. You will be effective in getting your point across. People will start to notice you more. Your aura will be very powerful. You might come across as charming to most people. Those who are in leadership, politics, public relations, any marketing, sales, real estate type fields, then you're going to benefit from this transit. Your health will also slightly get better. However, you need to be careful because Mercury will aspect your 7th house, and that will fall on the enemy sign Cancer. And so will Saturn's aspect fall on the 7th house as well. Both Saturn and Mercury consider Moon as an enemy planet which rules Cancer. So now is the time to be careful in your married life. Do not get into arguments with your spouse, or that could lead to major issues. Do not get into arguments with your business partners, or that could lead to issue. Do not blindly sign any documents. It can be either business or it can be any other documents. Make sure to read everything properly and then only sign. But as long as you're careful in these matters, the transit is going to be very good for you because Mercury is going to transit in your first house. So I wish you all the best. All right, for my 11th sign, Aquarius. For Aquarius, Mercury will be transiting in your 12th house in the sign Capricorn along with its friend Saturn, because Saturn will be already in Capricorn and Mercury and Saturn will be conjunct and they are both good friends. So you might now benefit from foreign lands. Either you might suddenly get a new job in a foreign country, or you might even relocate permanently. Some people who have invested in any foreign related stocks, they might benefit. Also, it might be a good time to invest in long-term safe investments, not risky investments, but safe investments. Because 12th house is related to long-term investments. It is not related to risky investments like the stock market, gambling, lottery. No, not those things. But if you invest in any fixed deposit or any other safe type investments, then that could benefit you in the long run. Those who want to pursue education, higher education in a foreign country, then also the time is looking good. From the 12th house, Mercury will be aspecting the 6th house, and so will Saturn. But that aspect will fall on the enemy sign Cancer, because it is ruled by the planet Moon. So now you need to be careful with any health issues. If there were any health issues bothering you, it would be best to consult your doctor ASAP so that you can get the treatment at the right time. Do not get into arguments with anyone because you might make enemies. Because 6th house is related to enemies. Be careful of any hidden enemies as well. Also, if you had taken any loans in the past, now is not the time to take any more loans. Now is the time to try to repay those loans, because taking more loans will be problematic. It might be hard to repay that because of the enemy aspect. You might also feel slightly sluggish in your daily work routine. But as long as you make the effort to show up to work every day, work hard, then this transit will be very good for you. So I wish you all the best. For my 12th sign, Pisces, Mercury is transiting in the most auspicious house, 11th, and it will be conjunct with its good friend Saturn. So 11th house is related to elder siblings. So your relationship with your elder siblings will get better. You might get support from your social network. They will start appreciating you more. They will start noticing you more. You might start getting gains from multiple sources of income. Your wealth and your bank balance might slowly start improving. A lot of people might start noticing you in your workplace. Your bosses will recognize your hard work and effort. However, Mercury will aspect the 5th house along with Saturn, and that aspect will be on the enemy sign Cancer. So now you need to be a bit careful in love and romance area. So if you're single, be a bit patient and do not suddenly get into a relationship with people you do not know, or that could lead to issues. Do not suddenly invest in stock market without analyzing, or you could face losses. If you have any children, do not get into arguments with them, or that could lead to misunderstandings. But as long as you're careful in these areas, the transit of Mercury in your 11th house is going to be really good for you. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you use this transit to your advantage. Thank you.